Hello, lovely people. Hope you're all well and welcome back to another That Liverpool show. And I'm delighted to say we're doing this show on the back of a Liverpool win. It's been a while and it feels bloody good. I shall tell you what else feels bloody good, people.
Oh.
When you manscape, that's what feels bloody good, people. So make sure. I'll get your name up, Bizzo. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. There we go. Manscaping feels very good. So people, if you want to get yourself a Manscaped kit, make sure you head over to their website and use the code TFT, get 20% off, and you and your other half will be very happy with your decision. So right, guys, let's get straight into it. Liverpool have progressed to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And we did that at the expense of RB Leipzig. Going into the game, many people feared for the tie, I myself included. However, we navigated through 2-0 at home, 2-0 away, even though both legs were in Budapest. 4-0 on aggregate, a clean sheet over 2 legs in the Champions League. One of the first times we've done that in a long time as well. So, Jurgen, I'm going to come to you first. How do you feel about that result?
Very happy. I originally went 2-1 Leipzig to win. I thought we were going to lose, but still go through. But I do watch along with Ryan, so I wasn't actually watching the game. I was watching the Barcelona game. But from what I saw, you know, it was another game where we had so many chances. We ended up 2-0, but it could have been 7 or 8. We could have absolutely destroyed them, but we didn't because I don't understand why Salah only scores when it's like 30 yards out or from a top angle. But when it's literally a meter in front of him, he can't put it in. So I'm happy we got the win, but we need to work on our finishing. Fully
agree. Bizzo, a.k.a. Manscaped Gardener.
He loves that.
How did you feel going into the game, and did the team did they impress you, or did you expect that result?
All I wanted was a little bit of improvement. This is all I want now from now until the end of the season, just a little bit more improvement. And I thought we didn't make a little bit of improvement in that game. I thought we took quite a big stride forward, really, with how well we played. Obviously, there's arguments that we didn't take our chances, but let's be honest, we were averaging about 1 or 2 chances a game in the last 7 games before then. So to create so many chances was very encouraging. I know they're a very similar side to us that try and keep it open play and free flowing attacking football, but it was good that we did continue to create that many chances. So yeah, I don't think we overperformed. I thought we played very well. I was very impressed with a few individuals as well, and obviously to get a clean sheet was fantastic considering previous results that have gone by recently.
Indeed. And Finn, firstly, welcome to the show, making your debut. Absolute pleasure having you on. So what would you attribute the success of yesterday's result to? Like, what do you think the main factor in that win against Leipzig was?
For me, especially Bizzo's been called out for a long time, is Fabinho back in that holding role. He does his job so well, and I didn't realise how good he is in that holding role till last night. I realised how much we missed him. So for me, a lot of credit has to go down to Fabinho. It lifts a lot of pressure off Wijnaldum and Thiago's backs when they don't realise that they've got someone that good who can pick up the pieces, who's got the ability to intercept anything. And for me, and again, Nat Phillips again coming in, uncalled for again. We got so many injuries left, right and centre. He never knows when he's going to be playing. Considering he was looking to go to America a couple of weeks ago to now keeping clean sheets against Leipzig in the Champions League, it's amazing. And them two for me, joint man of the match, fantastic, just amazing all round. But for me, mainly Fabinho was just so good last night, and proper professional performance by him, and just did everything he needed to do perfect.
Indeed, Rams, as Finn so brilliantly put about Fabinho, and not just Fabinho, the whole midfield looked a lot more cohesive.
Yeah.
Do you think it shows just how important the midfield is to our particular system in terms of alleviating pressure on the defence, but also allowing the forwards to do their thing up top as well?
Yeah, most definitely. It's great to see Fabinho back, obviously. Best DM in the world, behind Joshua Kimmich,
Oh, I disagree there. Oh, we'll have a discussion. We'll have a discussion.
Not enough time for that discussion.
Kimmich is one of my favourite players, but That's for another day, bro. That's for another day. We'll definitely talk about that.
My favorite bit, which allowed the midfield to play well, was the movement was so much better from our forward line. The likes of Jota, Salah, Mane, they're actually getting into space, and quite a lot of the time in the last couple of months, there was no movement from our forward line. The likes of Thiago can make a pass to Jota, and when there's space, he can't just flick a ball up in the air, and they have to hope and get onto it. You know what I mean? So I think we have to say that the movement from the forward line was also tremendous yesterday. It gave us the platform to make these chances, which we desperately needed in the last couple of months.
Indeed. So obviously, Ram spoke about the movement of the forwards, Conroy. Am I being a bit disingenuous when I say that although I'm happy with the result, I'm happy with the movement, I'm happy with how the forwards played, are we forgetting that Leipzig had to come out against us and actually play to try and get goals, which potentially would have left space in behind, which hasn't happened with other teams?
I'm not, because I didn't gas it up last night. I don't think, if you understand, I think Jota's movement was good, but that's because Jota's quite an intelligent player. I think Mane and Salah done the same thing they always do. And I do think it's because, again, this is what we've done all season. We just get gassed up because a team who always plays gun-ho even was more gun-ho last night, and there was more space, and we still couldn't finish our dinner. I didn't give any of the front three over 7 yesterday because our finishing was pathetic. Like, guys, you're not going to get those chances. You need to be taking those chances, right? It's like we're all like, oh, Leipzig, but what happens when you're against a team you get one chance? And it's like, for me, nah, the front three are still. I didn't give them any more than 7 yesterday. I think I was talking to Finn. I gave them all 6.5.
Yeah.
I thought Jota's movement was brilliant. You can't miss those. The thing is, right, this is what happens. I'll paint the picture, right? You all get gassed, right? Then we go and lose a game. And then Conroy told you that a week ago, but everyone's like, oh, it was terrible. And it's like, I'm not saying it wasn't good last night. I thought the defence and midfield was brilliant. I thought the attack, though, it's just like, this is what happens. It's like, let's play a low block and let's see their movement be good then. Let's see them break down a team who sits in, because this is a cycle. It keeps happening and we keep falling for it. So I'm not falling for it anymore. If Fabinho, massive difference in midfield, but let's see how well we do against a team who sits in. So let's see in the next couple of weeks if it's a change, because for me, I didn't take a lot from last night, just apart from Nat Phillips is amazing and will win anything in the air. Fabinho is just, he's one of the best DMs in the world, but the front three, Jota's movement's better than Mane and Salah put together this season, but that might be because Mane and Salah just look a bit. We've spoken about that previously. They look a bit drained, but I think Jota does add a different level. I said to Cal previously, he picks up spaces like a number 10, like he drops into spaces, which is superb. And I think his movement creates a lot of space for the others. So I think for me, going forward, I don't know if you agree, but Jota is the first name I would start right now. Salah as well, because he's goals, and then that third space is up for grabs between Mane, Firmino, or if he wants to put Shaqiri there as well. So to be honest, I'm not getting gas for the front three. I need to see them break down a bottom 6 team, and then I'll be impressed. But not a team who has to come at us like that. Not yet, anyway. So that's my take on it, guys.
Jeez, no mercy from Conroy. Love it. What I will actually say to that is, I'll be honest, on the Koppish last night, I was quite critical of the forwards because I don't think they were very clinical at all. So, Mons, I'm going to come to you now. So, we've seen one game against Fulham where Firmino didn't play, and it was Jota, Mane and Salah. And we've seen the game yesterday against Leipzig where Firmino didn't play. One game they lose, one game they win convincingly. Do you think that Bobby's a player that is maybe sometimes missed in those games where it's a low block, but not necessarily missed in the games where we're playing counter-attack? Or do you just think his time is his time now and he should just be a squad player?
Why'd you ask me about Firmino, Cal?
You know why. I'm always planning ahead once, you know this.
To be fair, during the game, all right, before Salah scored, before we scored, and there was a few opportunities where, Jota he needed to hold the ball up, and I was screaming at the screen saying, "This is why," because my preference is I'd rather Mane just not play right now at all, and I feel like Firmino still needs to be in that position because there were as much as everyone was ranting and raving about Diogo last night. For me, he didn't hold the ball well enough. He didn't hold the ball up well enough throughout the game for me, and even though we created so many opportunities, which is based on good movement, I feel like other opportunities where we could have got ourselves up the pitch, and because let's not get ahead of ourselves. We played really well throughout the game, but that was an immense defensive performance from the two CBs and an unbreakable performance from Fabulous. So in that sense, and that's so in that sense, I still feel like there's stuff we need to, like, there's, again, I just think it's Firmino, for me, is that still that key? Whether or not he's finishing or not finishing, Mane's not playing well enough. So I feel like Diogo still needs to be in the team, but for me, he's not the man to sort of hold the ball, spin you on the half turn and play the right pass, because I don't think he does that well enough. But what he does make up in is that, you know, that movement, that sharpness. Of course, he missed a few chances, but we don't really associate that with his game. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just, I feel like Firmino was needed today at some points, and I didn't see a difference in the quality of finishing. So Firmino shouldn't even be a discussion. Do you know what I mean? There was no difference in finishing today. Like, can we all agree there was no difference in finishing? Mane headed the ball into the ground. He headed it into the ground.
Oh my God!
I definitely.
If anyone tells me you're blind if you're telling me he deserves to play. He can't play right now. He cannot start.
No, all right, so on that point,
look at Origi. Go on. Sorry.
On that point, should we be in a position right now? Because a lot's been made about us potentially bringing in a number 9 in the summer. But again, we'll discuss that later in the show. And a lot of people are saying Firmino's either got to be dropped or be pushed back into a number 10/8 position. No one's really said anything about Mane, though. And considering we've got Jota, who can actually take his place, and I don't think Salah's a player you can really drop right now, considering his goals and the assists and the chances he creates. As Conroy said, it is between Firmino and Mane, but no one's really saying Mane too much. So is it a case of, so Rams, I'll come to you. Should Mane and Firmino no longer be automatic starters for Liverpool, especially if we go out and get a top-class forward in the summer?
I mean, if we get Pedro Neto, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I think there's an era of complacency from our front three. You know, like, they've been there for God knows how long, about 3 or 4 years. They've played together. There's not been anyone that sort of said, I'm going to take your place, until Jota came along. And then once Jota came in and did his madness, Firmino came back and he was actually performing at the level that we expect him to do. So maybe it's a case of get these guys out, give them some time off, and let someone do the job for them, and let them have that hunger to be in the starting 11 again.
Yeah, facts.
Bizzo, do you agree with that? I know you've been a supporter of Firmino, even when the likes of me and others have waned on him. What's your thoughts on the situation with Firmino and Mane at the moment?
I think Jota should have Mane's position in the team, and I think Firmino should come back in, simply because it just increases your creativity a little bit more. That midfield last night, when they play together a bit more for the remainder of this season, you'll see a lot more chances being created. The likes of Keita playing more games, Thiago being able to play his role a little bit more, and Fabinho covering the two of them. You put Firmino in that team, who's probably going to drop into midfield with them every now and again within the course of 90 minutes. It opens up your options massively. And Jota's a much better finisher than Mane. And we're not, obviously, this isn't taking into account the game the other night, because obviously the three of them, well, 2 of them are tired and one's just come back from a long layoff. So it's very hard to criticise them too much, I feel, at this stage, considering it is. The way we've been playing
finishers, mate, it's in front of goal.
I know.
You're far too nice, far too kind.
I agree. They should be taking the chances, but as I said, the fact that the chances were being created is a good thing for me. But I do agree with you. They shouldn't be missing as much as they are. And Mane heads the ball like a stegosaurus at the moment. So,
oh my God, I can't believe he done that last night. What was he trying to do?
It's madness, mate. He's done 2 games in a row.
And normal Mane just scissor kicks it. But sorry, go on.
I want to see.
Sorry, Bizzo, go on, bro.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I want to see Firmino back in the team with Jota and that strong midfield that now we've got, where we're not relying on people to come in and do jobs. We've actually got a bit of, we've got quite a lot of depth in midfield now, I feel. So it'll be interesting to see for the next few games when he does come back in.
Jones as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of creativity there and a lot of goals as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and Keita looks
Finn,
good as well.
I'm going to come to you, Finn, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot a little bit here, but I know you go to quite a lot of the games. So a lot of things that I speak to fans about is that Firmino, when he plays, when you watch him on the telly, you don't get the same impact as when you watch him live. One, do you agree with that? And two, do you think he's a player that's just massively underappreciated and we'll only really recognise what he brings to the team if he's not in the team for a sustained period?
Yeah, I definitely agree with both points. For me, it's so difficult with Bobby. Obviously, he gets like slagged off by so many people saying like he's a defensive strike and all that, which us Liverpool fans have always known. We always support him through these rough patches when he has his nightmares where he doesn't score for a couple of games, and his goal scoring record isn't good enough, and I feel like it does need to get improved. But for me, I love that man to bits, and his creativity, his skill, and what he produces to the team is just very, very good. And I agree with Mons and Bizzo. I think if you get, for me, Mane's hit so much. Firmino's got more goals for Liverpool since Van Dijk's been injured than Mane, and I feel like because Mane was so good last year and so important, one of our best players, probably our best player behind Van Dijk, no one really wants to question him as much, you know what I mean, because how good he's been for Liverpool. But for me, Firmino, he's just different class when he's on his game. But I feel like for me, he just needs to get a couple of run of games where he gets a goal or an assist and plays well, you know what I mean, gets involved with the goals, because I feel like his confidence in the minute is quite low, getting dropped with obviously an injury, which you never know if it is. But for me, Firmino, his skill is very good. Like Leicester, he didn't have the best of game, but nice piece of skill to Salah to let him off for that goal. We all know his ability is top class, and with Jota and Salah either side of him, I think he can perform very well. But I agree with Bizzo and Mons what they're saying with dropping Mane. I agree. I think he's been hiding away way too much, and both of them have been good enough. But for me, Firmino's just, I think his ability is just very good, and probably got better ability than Sadio and Mo for me. Like on the ball, his skill is very good. But I'd like to see him score more goals. That'd be massive for me, and then he'd be undroppable. But obviously, his goals don't come as regularly as we'd like. That's maybe why he gets questioned.
Yeah, very true. Jersey, well, I'm going to put you on the spot now. Champions League final, we get there. All four forwards are fit. Who's your starting three if you're Jurgen Klopp?
That's really hard, but I wouldn't go. I'll play all four.
Okay, so who would you drop out midfield?
I don't like 4-3-3. I don't know. I probably would take a one out of them. I'll probably go Firmino and a Thiago and a double pivot. Firmino in the 10, Mane, Salah, and then one of them up front. Or you could play Origi, may play Jota on the left. I don't know. I don't know. All I'm
Champions
saying
League final.
Been messing about football manager.
To be honest, you're saying that right now in my head. Origi, Mane, and Firmino are about the same. They're playing at the same type of level right now. So you talk about Firmino and Mane, it's like choosing the best of a bad bunch. Like we're forgetting how poor they've both been.
Conroy, let me stay with you for a sec, Conroy, because obviously you've just mentioned Origi, and I promise I'm not sticking up for Drifty here. But obviously,
I will.
we all know Drifty gave me a good telling off yesterday because I wasn't that impressed with Origi's performance, even though he picked up an assist. But just playing devil's advocate, are we being a bit too harsh on Origi sometimes? Because he's expected to come on and kind of do what Firmino does, but also score goals. But he's not that type of player. He never has been that type of player. So when he comes on and he actually does get an assist, despite the rest of his game being pretty poor last night, should we just sort of sit back and just kind of let it go or not?
For me, Cal, it's like, see Origi, just accept that he doesn't work with the system from a starting perspective. Like, he's not going to press. We all know that. We can make any excuse under the sun. It's just not his game. Let's just accept it. But for me, it's when you're chasing a goal to 10 minutes to go, don't know why it's like, that system's worked all game. No, it's not worked all game. So if you bring him on, play his strengths. Like, again, it's this stubbornness. It's like, see when it's 1-0 to a team with 10 minutes to go, I don't care about style of football. I care about getting us back in the game.
Yeah.
And when you bring him on for 3 minutes, I don't understand the point in that. If you're bringing him on, play his strengths. And it's like, see Chelsea, see when they need a goal. Maybe that's a bad example, but Cavani for United. Do you think, or a Giroud, do you think they say, right, we're going to play the same style of football because that's worked for the past 80 minutes. Not you've not broke the team down, but we still try to play that football and then bring Origi on and put him out wide left, and it's just like, he's not a winger, he's just a number 9. Play his strengths, and then I think you maybe say he'd be more effective. For me, like even last night, I've got to be honest, that cross is one of the best crosses I've seen all season. Like Trent would love a cross like that.
Yeah.
It's like eat your heart out last night because the pace on that was fantastic. Mane somehow finished as well because it was a difficult one.
I thought he was going to miss it. I honestly thought he was going to miss it.
It wasn't difficult.
Yeah.
No.
I'm being sarcastic, mate. He missed one in the first half.
Yeah, I know, but for Mane at this point, it's difficult, but that's not a difficult finish. I'm not.
No, it's not. I was saying that last night.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like if you're bringing him on, you're going to use him, Cal. He's going to go in the summer. We know that. He's going to go to a team who'll play to his strengths. Well, bring him on, play to his strengths because your original game plan's not worked. That's why you're bringing Origi on. Then it goes back to Klopp's stubbornness at times, and that does get annoying. But for me, he is what he is, and Drifty would have been loving it last night when he got his assist.
he was, believe me. Rams, I'm going to come to you next, and again, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. What are Origi's strengths? And I'm not even saying this to shade him. Because Conway, you mentioned his strengths, but what are his strengths? Because it seems like a lot of the fan base.
We'll look at prime Origi. Yeah, his strengths would be his pace, his physicality, his skill on the ball. He's a very skillful player on the ball at his prime. Now, at his prime, he was very skillful on the ball. You have to admit that. And
I don't know if I agree.
Nah, he was.
Yeah.
He was at his prime. I'm thinking 2016 Origi. 2016 Origi was running with the ball like he was freaking. I don't want to say. I don't know.
But that's the wrong style when he comes on. It's like for me, we don't put him in the box enough when he comes on. It's like.
But I think he does that to himself, Conroy.
Well, I don't know, but then Bobby Firmino does that as well, and he does it. I know I'm not going to start with the false nine stuff, but when you need a goal, he's still loitering outside the box. Does that come through the tactics? It's just like he's 6'3", Origi, but I never ever see Trent or Robbo whipping a ball in to him the way they do to when it's Mane or Salah. So that's confused. Why do we never see that? And maybe you're right, Cal. Maybe that's because he does it, but then how can you be at this level of the game and not understand the basics? I don't know.
Me neither.
Do you think he doesn't have that mentality, though? Do you think he has that striker's
That's
mentality?
what I was going to ask. Am I being harsh on Origi, Bizzo? Or?
The only good thing about Origi is he uses Manscaped. That's it.
Yeah, to be fair, I agree with Vizzo there as well. But I
he's not a Liverpool player. He's not. He doesn't fit in. He doesn't offer anything. He scores single-figure goals. Regardless of when you play him, he played a full season at Wolfsburg on loan and got about 9 goals, I think it was, if I remember off the top of my head. He won't score any more than that. It's statistically, that's just how it is. It's with any striker, it's the same. If you played him every game of the season, he'd still get single figures.
I blame Funes Mori. Funes Mori ruined his career.
You can't keep on saying. Can we keep on saying that?
I'm not with it.
I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I can't have it.
All right, Mons, tell me why you're
Mons is fuming.
Like, don't get me wrong, he's not the Messiah, he's not the next up, he's not that guy for Liverpool. I'll happily admit that. But we can't just have players who are gonna fit the system. Otherwise,
100%.
We're just gonna go. We're just gonna go with what's been happening. This is the reason we're in the situation that we're in.
100%, man.
Because 100%. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, as I said, to be able to bring on someone who's 6'3" and he's not actually stiff like a fridge. He's not slow. We have a striker who's touching 6'3". He's quick. He's not as quick as he used to be, but he's still quick. He's got neat feet. I don't want to say he's skillful on the ball. He's tidy with his dribbling. I don't want to say skillful.
That might be bad. That might be bad.
Because again,
I'm gonna hold that against you, Rams. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Not skillful on the ball. I'm not gonna go that far with it. But again, he has tendencies to at least be in the right places at the right time. And we, again, in terms of strikers, we don't really have anyone else to do that. Cool, yeah, we need to bring someone in who will be better and do the job better. But you know, the whole single figures of Origi and his record and stuff like that, the way he's been treated, I don't think a lot of strikers would have had better numbers than him with the minutes that he's played. I just don't think there's many people in the market who can come in and do what Origi's done in the moments that he's done it with the opportunity he's been given.
Well, what about Jota then? Because Jota wouldn't have gone to that club thinking that he's going to play anywhere near as much as what he has, and the impact that he's made. Minamino exactly the same. Minamino is probably the one that plays on the opposite flank to Origi and probably mirrors that role on the right hand side. And he's on loan at Southampton now. The guy doesn't make an impact. He doesn't do it often enough. He scored some big goals. Yeah, fair play. Like, we'll always love him for that. But it's like what we were saying about Mane. You can't be less critical of a player because they're struggling over the course of a season because of what they've done 2 seasons ago. We can't have that mentality, because if we have that mentality, we're gonna have the same team in 3 years' time, and we're gonna be 4th every year.
But he's definitely had less of an opportunity than Jota, because when Jota come in, he was straight ahead of Origi. And with when you look at I'm not talking about what he's done 2 years ago. When you look at him when he comes on, he gets to speak more times, 7 out of 10 times, he's put on the pitch in a useless situation. What do you expect him to do? As a footballer, I still believe morale fully exists, because you look at the Liverpool as a team, morale is something that definitely affects us as a family and as a club, and all the way down to the players. And with Origi, I feel like his morale is probably as low as it can be. So to even see him come on and put a decent cross in is like, oh my God, for certain people, because, you know, where's he supposed to get that sort of, you know, big up your chest, bro? You're a big guy at this club. You can do something. He probably doesn't even believe he could do anything at this club anymore because of the way I think he's treated. I think a confident Origi is a different Origi than the one we see when he comes on for 10 minutes. Me personally. And if you want to get
fair points. Fair points. I don't know. Maybe it's because of Drifty, the way Drifty's agenda is. I've not that I've lost sympathy for Origi. I find myself always arguing with Drifty because I feel like he makes excuses for Origi.
I think Drifty makes Origi seem better than he is. There's no.
Oh
But we all have that player. We all have that player that we think's better than they are.
Oh yeah. I'm like that with
He just happens to be Origi.
Yeah, like, mine's Firmino. In my mind, Firmino's as good as Ronaldo. Like, but deep down, I know he's not. It's I fully agree.
No, but
that's like me with Daniel Sturridge.
But what I was going to say, though, my point on Origi is, though, guys, we can't sign anyone new until the end of the season. That's a fact, right? So he's literally our only number 9. So I think if you're ever going to have option, I don't want to hear that because Mane and Firmino have been awful that he can't come on, because that does annoy me, because it just, as Jersey said earlier, there's definitely a relative complacency. It might not be, it might be subconsciously, but Mane this season's been very poor as well, but Bobby Firmino has had some games, right, where genuinely worst player on the park and he still starts the next game. You cannot tell me for a bench that doesn't annoy the you can't tell me that's healthy, that even as Welford said earlier, that minor knock sometimes, because he just doesn't want to say he's dropped. He doesn't deserve to start, and that really annoys me. And it's like, for the end of the season, I'm kind of thinking if we've got any chance, and it's a very small chance of getting through the Champions League stages, I think we need to use all the assets we've got. So I don't see the big issue for when you need a goal, putting a striker in his actual position and playing to his strengths instead of playing him left wing, that Bizzle said. Like, again, he went left wing last night, and it's like, it just that baffles me. He's not a winger. I disagree. I don't think he's great with his feet. I think he's very predictable with his feet. But again, we've got 2 best crossers, and we'd never put the ball in that area. And maybe you're right, Cal. Maybe because he's got a terrible movement. Maybe it's something to do with that. But for me, it's like, the reason we're actually down to having an argument about Origi for the rest of the season shows how bad we've been at keeping competition in the front three. But it is what it is, guys, and we need to use all the help we can get. And unfortunately, that's who we've got, and we need to try and get the best of them to the end of the season if we've got any chance.
How much do you think we can get for it?
15 mil.
15, 20. I haven't got any more than that, me.
Also, Diallo just scored. By the way, Diallo just come on and score for United in like a few minutes.
Rangers was 1-1
No.
Oh yeah, we'll be hearing about that all week.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
The next Ronaldo.
As I said earlier, AC Milan scored 2 goals, but they were both disallowed. So
literally 4 minutes into his debut.
We're talking about Origi, and they've got Diallo scoring in 4 minutes. This is the issue we've got, lads.
Oh no!
Let's just all calm down. Ben Woodburn scored against Leeds, and we're all right. Here he comes, the wonder kid, right? Let's just calm down.
Very true, very true. All right, guys, I'm going to bring in Ryan before we get on to the next topic. Ryan, welcome to the show, bro. Oh,
doing good, man. How are you guys doing?
Good, brother. Good, brother. Welcome. All right, so Ryan, I'm going to start with you for this question. Liverpool have got through to the quarterfinal. Oh, you want to say something about Origi?
Yeah.
Go on.
Origi biggest strength not many striker in world football have this. He know where to position himself inside the box to latch on and put the ball in the back of the net. Not many striker.
Yeah, I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like for me, I'd
bro.
rather see Trent Arnold have a one-on-one than Divock Origi. For me, I feel like Trent's got a better chance of putting the ball in the back of the net. I just feel like he's off it.
Trent?
In terms of finishing, putting the ball in the back of the net.
Origi is a listen
Divock
different
Origi,
from
Premier League appearances,
Nico Jota.
19 goals.
Exactly.
That's not a good return, though. That's less than 1 in 5.
We're arguing because Firmino's been that poor and Mane's been that poor that we're looking for alternatives.
Yeah,
that's why we're arguing about it. So let's not forget that. That's the reason.
Yeah. So, all right, Ryan, Liverpool through to the quarterfinals. A lot of people are saying they want Porto in the next round because Porto are seen as quote unquote the easiest team to play against, right? I'm actually going to throw in a spanner of the works here and say I actually think Porto will probably be the most difficult game for us. And the reason I say that is because Porto are probably the only team left in the Champions League who'd play a low block against us, unless Atletico Madrid managed to get through against Chelsea. Now, we've seen we can't break down Burnley, Fulham, Brighton with low blocks. Breaking down Atletico Madrid is going to be impossible. Breaking down Porto over low block is going to be impossible. Should we be hoping to get one of the better teams, Ryan, in this Champions League in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, because it may give us a better chance of going through, considering we play better against teams who don't play a low block?
Definitely, when team open up against Liverpool and give them room to play, they can destroy you. No matter any team in the world, once you open against Liverpool, they will destroy you. But for me, I still think Porto is the weakest team in the Champions League, remain in the quarterfinal. But when you look at it still, if Porto play a lower back and Liverpool, I think Liverpool can break them down because they're in Europe. It's not an English team or quote unquote, no Liverpool inside out. So for me, coming up against Porto when they have a low block, I think Liverpool can get past them. That's why I think the best chance for us to go to the Champions League semi-final is Porto. Porto is that team. Many people will say they want Porto. A couple of years ago, we beat Porto bad. You don't know if Porto want revenge. They're going to have that in them. From Fernando Torres days, come right back to the last two time we play them. We always beat them. So sometimes we ask for a team and they end up overthrow us. But I would definitely think I would have won, different from Porto, Borussia Dortmund, that'd be a very good team because they're going to play attacking football. Can the Borussia Dortmund outscore this Liverpool team? Yes, we know they have great players, but Liverpool will definitely destroy Borussia Dortmund if they play toe-to-toe. Borussia Dortmund is very weak at the back, just like Liverpool. Trust me. You don't agree?
Fair enough.
Rams.
That Haaland might have something to say.
Yeah, but you're forgetting about Naldini at the back. We've got Nat at the back. Naldini, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
You don't know.
Jersey boy, do you agree?
I'm taking. Oh my god, I can't do it.
Jersey boy, what about you? Who would you want? Would you want a team that is sort of a Porto or another team?
I would love Porto, but then again, we've had Porto for so long. We had them not last season, the season before, then the season before that as well.
Yeah.
So I think they kind of know us a bit in and out. But I don't know. There's something in my head that tells me we are going to get Dortmund in the next round.
I think.
Oh no!
I don't want Dortmund.
I don't want Dortmund.
I don't mind it.
I may be wrong, but I did predict. I did predict the score right for the Fulham game. I got that bang on, so my prediction was bang on.
Yes, do you know that?
I have a feeling we're gonna get Dortmund and Man City are gonna get Porto.
Yes,
if we get Porto, we're gonna destroy them. We are going to tear Porto a new one.
No, don't say that though. How many times have we spanked them? They want to spank us back. No, I can't. No.
See these man. You see them.
It's Porto with Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah. Did you see what Porto did against Ronaldo though? That
did you see Ronaldo? Wait, no. Again, Ronaldo's Ronaldo, but he's not Ronaldo. I don't know.
I know. I agree. Ronaldo's well past his best, but as Callum said, the teams we've struggled against this season have been the low block teams that put 4-4-2, or they have like the 5-3-2, and we can't get past them. We've got no ability. We've got no one who can break them down. We thought it might have been Thiago. He doesn't look like he can do it. So for me, I'd rather face like a Real Madrid who've got no attacking threat. Ramos is out injured. They're weak at the back. You can hit them. They're not going to sit back. They're a perfect team to play. They will come at you as well. But for me, Porto, I wouldn't be sat here being like, yes, but I wouldn't be sat in here being like, oh. But I wouldn't mind Porto, but for me, I'd rather have Madrid over Porto for me, because you can hit them and they won't sit as deep. And Porto, I watched that Juve game, they were absolutely outstanding. That's one of the best
very
I've seen.
impressive, yeah.
You've got to remember they've got 38-year-old Pepe.
Pepe was world class. He was just getting, it's like that.
Finn, I've got a question though. Finn, I have a quick question. So would you rather prefer a team that maybe doesn't have the personnel, like, you know, have their best 11 or their best squad, but, you know, they know how to win, like, you know, the Madrid, you could say, you know, to an extent, Juventus, even though they did go out in the previous rounds, or maybe an Atletico Madrid, or would you, as I said, prefer, you know, maybe let's say Atalanta did go through, or Sevilla went through, would you prefer a lower level team who are playing really well out of their skin? Who would you sort of go for?
It is tough, because with Real Madrid, they're like us, they've got so much history in this competition, like they can turn it on at any minute. But I just feel like, for me, I think I would back Madrid to go through over Atalanta. I just feel like I wouldn't be too bothered. I'd be on the fence, but for me, I'd say I'd rather have Real Madrid. I feel like you've got Hazard, Ramos is out, and I just feel like you can get at them. And Liverpool play good against the top teams. We've not seen it as much this year, but in Champions League, we've been all right. And I feel like, for me, I think we can all agree, Real Madrid don't really scare you. They used to, but nowadays, Hazard out, Vinicius Junior, Benzema, you know what I mean? I think Virgil van Philips can definitely deal with them too. So I'm not. I would take like an Atalanta or like a team like that are playing good in Italy and thingy. But for me, preference, I'd say Madrid, because it's a big shout to everyone else. Like, we've just beat Madrid here. We might be awful in England, but we can still do things in this. But I wouldn't be bothered to get someone on like that.
To me, I'm just seeing it as I'd like to avoid City and Bayern Munich, and then I don't care about the rest. I'd even take Chelsea. I wouldn't mind us playing Chelsea. I think that'd be a good tie for us, and it's just
we've got a chance. It's a chance.
It's the return of Fabulous, man. It's the return of Fabulous. Now that Fabulous is here, now that he's arrived.
Divock Origi up front, we've sorted it, lads.
I don't want Bayern Munich or City. Like, if I see one of those two names come out, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be happy.
It's going to be your worst enemy to play against a team in England. You know, it's difficult when it comes on to the Champions League to play against a team in a home country. That's going to be difficult. But go back to Borussia Dortmund. I think people hype up Borussia Dortmund too much. Yes, they have Alan, but they are always, when it comes up to the big moment, they always flop. Bayern Munich leading 2-0, collapse.
I agree with you. Ryan, I say that every week with Borussia Dortmund. I think they don't get enough criticism for how much they bottle it, but I would say we're not doing good attackingly right now. So, and they are. So if you backed in a one-off game, even if we create chances, we won't finish it. Whereas you know they will. So that's why I wouldn't want Dortmund, because he's going to look at Nat Phillips and especially Kabak and be like, no bother, easy street for me.
Against
generational talent. Against Kabak, he's going to look at Kabak and be like, no bother.
I agree with Ryan, because Dortmund, when they played Seville, they had Emre Can playing at the back. They're in a similar situation with us. So defensively, Dortmund are very weak, one of the weakest in the competition. But I feel like, for me, that Haaland, no. I just wouldn't want to be witnessing Haaland just running at Kabak and Phillips. I'd be me out for the full 90 minutes. But defensively, though, Dortmund aren't the best at all with Can there. Hummel's too slow, a lot of experience. But Mane, Jota, Salah, and fingers crossed, one rings around him. But I'd want to avoid Dortmund just for the fact that Haaland is on soak. He's scored so many goals in so many games in Champions League. He's just phenomenal for me. So that's why I don't want to Dortmund.
He's never come up against that.
We're forgetting Reina. We're forgetting Marco Reus. We're forgetting James.
Guerrero.
Guerrero.
You see, Reina. That guy is special. Reina is special. Like
got sauce.
we
He's
get
got
it.
that sauce.
Dortmund defo skip leg day. They skip leg day, but what they've got, you know that drunk. I said, you know, like a drunk uncle. Like if you talk too much rubbish, they'll still. You can win the fight, but if you wrong, they'll still knock you out. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't take these men for granted because the power that they've got up top is nuts.
Yeah.
And individually, their defenders are good. Individually,
Hummels is still good.
Yeah. Mentality,
100%.
they've got problems. They are like they do not get enough criticism for how many games
that
they
is
ball.
true.
Like 2-0 up against Bayern Munich. Bet they'll lose. No bother. Most obvious thing you'll see because they do that every season for a good team. But I think they've just got too much for us right now. So what about PSG, guys? We'll just take PSG. Just go for it. Let's take PSG.
No.
See what happens.
No, mate.
Nat Phillips is like, you think you're going to be the next Messi or Ronaldo? Let's go, mate.
Let's stop. We can carry on Project Mbappe when we get PSG coming to Anfield. It'd be sound.
Yeah.
Just whisper to him.
A big team with those two centre backs, right? I'm not letting anybody forget about that for the rest of their life. Honestly, if we beat a top team with Kabak and Phillips, or even if Phillips scores in the champ, I thought he was going to score last night from a corner. Honestly, that is getting replayed non-stop. Oh.
He's in my fantasy team. He needs to be scoring. He's in my fantasy team. 4 mil.
Go on, Jersey boy.
Talking about PSG, I watched the game Barcelona last night. They were very lucky that Barcelona do not have a good striker because, no joke, if Suarez started or Haaland started for Barcelona, they would have done the comeback because Dembele had at least 5 sitters. I do not know how Barcelona did not win that game. They should have been 4-0 up by half time. So PSG have got Poms at the back. Marquinhos is quite good, but they were quite good defensively. Navas is a very good goalkeeper as well. So I wouldn't want PSG just because I think Mbappe would terrorize us. He probably break the goal scoring record against us in one game.
I don't know. Like
I'd be quietly confident against PSG.
I feel like Mbappe
with our highlight
more consistently against actual teams who are too like for me it's like
no comment, Rams.
I just think
Connor.
No,
highlight against Mbappe.
No,
I'm sorry.
But surely a smart person wouldn't do that.
Klopp wouldn't do that. Well, surely
not. But
it's not like we have a stubborn manager or anything. Of course not.
No.
Nothing like that. Of course not. I think Mbappe's got. I think he will prove it, but he's still got a lot to prove in my book. And staying at France is not going to prove it. Not for me anyway, because he gets a gimme every week.
I agree. All right, let's move on then. So we've been speaking about Phillips and Kabak just then, and they both had very good game against Leipzig. Especially Naldini, and he was brilliant. And I know he gets a lot of stick because he looks awkward, but I'll sit here and I'll be honest with you. Every time Nat's played, he's not done much wrong. He's, in my opinion, made less mistakes when he's played than all the other defenders put together this season. So is it now a case of Naldini and Kabak play for the rest of the season, and then in the summer we've all said we need at least one centre back? Who should be our 4th/5th choice? Should it be should it be Naldini or Kabak?
Is that a question?
Is this even a debate? It's got to be.
I'll be honest.
Kabak.
Naldini for me was man of the match last night. He was just
by a mile.
If any man, and it's like Nat Phillips' head, and it was I shouldn't laugh, but it was like just a picture of just someone. He just attacks it so hard. It was like a picture of the ball, Nat Phillips. It's a picture of the Simpsons character coming through the window. It's true. He just hates everything. Like it's ridiculous.
I love to see it though. I love to see it. I think we've kind of missed that this season in defence. Like we've been a bit timid in defence.
You've got to remember, like every time he's played, he's put in arguably a man of the match performance every single time, he's come in almost, and that's like incredible given the circumstances of the trouble we've been in. I said last night on another stream that I wouldn't mind seeing him ahead of Gomez at this rate if he carries on with these performances. I think he'd be I think eventually he could surpass Gomez in that starting 11, 110%.
Now D and
The
Virgil.
landscape gardener. Here he goes.
Oh no!
I love it, Biz. Biz is going out
I'm
there. He's
telling-
not messing about.
I'm telling you, I might
Football
be wrong. I might be wrong, but I think a guy with his ability to win almost every header that comes his way, and the timing of his challenges are just superb. Even like when it's a very last ditch, you must make this tackle. He makes it. He doesn't really put a foot wrong in a game. So if he carries on like this, I don't see why not. I think he's proven himself to be a great addition to the squad given the circumstances. So yeah, I'd keep him on me next season, 100%.
Add to that with Bizzle. See what you're saying, Bizzle. I don't know about the Gomez for me, but what I would say is, see in the past when there's maybe been tricky away ties like your Burnleys or that, but Brighton, you know how sometimes they use that as a weakness. I'm not saying Van Dijk and Gomez, they're usually great, but there's certain games where it's like you maybe put a Lovren in the past there. For me, Nat Phillips makes me very confident in those ties. That's something we've not had in a while. So I would say even keeping him, he would be ideal for those games, because personally, when they try to use that weakness, if maybe Van Dijk or Gomez isn't there, you trust him. You trust him to deal with that, like for the Burnleys, the Brightons, even like West Brom, stuff like that. So for me, I would say, yeah, I think it's actually a no-brainer. I mean, who's going to drive Kabak to the airport? Because I don't think he'll be staying. No, I'm only joking. He's been all right. He has been all right. I'm being too harsh, but Phillips has been too impressive for me.
Do you not think it'd be worth taking him as well for the money that we'd be paying for them?
Yeah, and his age as well. He's got a long time to improve. I think he's been alright for me overall.
How much is Kelleher? Was it 20 million for Kelleher? Is that right? About 20 million.
Something like that.
I'd buy him over Kabak if you can get a defender with that experience and ability. Don't mess about. Need to be ruthless, guys. It's not about being sentimental.
Yeah, I know, but I think you gotta realise where he's came from. You can see he's like 60 goals in Germany. He's only 20, coming into the so-called Premier League champions with like a midfielder next to him. His keeper's been in a bit of a mad place. The fullbacks are all right. One of them not so good. So you've got. I'm totally agree. He's been certain goals. He's had a lot of mistakes. But I think look at his overall performance. He's been good, and in Champions League games, he's been solid in both them Leipzig fixtures. He got man of the match in the first leg, if I'm not mistaken. But I think he's been alright.
Guys, I've got a question. Yeah, what do you
Go
think
on
of
then,
this? Got Virgil and Joe, number 1 and number 2. Maybe Kabak and Phillips as number 4 and number 5. They fight for that. What about Sven Botman or Varane as number 3? What do you think of that?
Whoa, I got to stop you there.
Varane would be number 1, number 2.
Yeah, but if Varane comes, Gomez has got to take a seat, bro. Like,
Yeah, he's got to take
Either one of
a
them.
seat.
I don't think we're gonna afford Varane. I think our board is too stingy. Botman looks more or less the.
I'm still not convinced with Botman. If I'm going to be honest with you, as much as I love Gomez, there are quite a lot of centre backs you could go for that you could upgrade on Gomez. Like
just
you
the
can,
pace, wasn't it, Cal?
This is why
it's difficult.
I don't think they're available though. Like,
Pau Torres.
No, I don't think he's better.
You don't think he's better than Gomez?
I haven't seen much of him, so I can't really judge.
I think Gomez is more athletic, but I don't think Gomez's reading of the game is as good as a lot of other defenders out there. I think his athleticism gets him out of trouble a lot. Still think he's a very good centre back and plays very well next to Van Dijk. But I think there's a lot of centre backs out there. All right, I won't say a lot, but I reckon I could name at least 6 or 7 centre backs that are better than Gomez, who I think are attainable.
And do you think pace-wise as well, Cal? What I mean by that is I agree. I think he's more athletic, but he can play the high line with Gomez because you know he can play on the half and get there with his pace. I don't know if there's... Would you say 6 or 7 who've got the same pace who could do that as well?
Don't know about that.
Yeah, I think if we really had a proper look, I think we could. I mean, Leicester Fofana could do that, in my opinion. I wouldn't say Pau Torres is as quick as Gomez, but I think he reads the game better. I think Matip on his day is better than Gomez as well, but it's the only thing.
I agree,
Matip
100%. Matip
made of glass.
It's not fashionable to say Matip, though. People don't like to say it, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are centre backs. Maybe I'm being harsh.
In our system, I don't think there's many better centre backs than Joe Gomez. In our system, when we have the full squad fit,
he's made mistakes, guys. Though he's made quite a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
if you watch,
I just don't think we appreciate at times when you look at them together and you've had to isolate world-class players. Joe Gomez has put in some performances that I do think we tend to forget sometimes, and consistency as well.
more than Matip, because I'd arguably say Matip has had bigger performances than Joe Gomez over the last 3 years. It's just that Matip can't save shit.
I don't know. I think
it's a tough one.
I think out there for players who complement Van Dijk, I think Gomez is one of the best out there to complement Van Dijk, because we always say about Van Dijk complements Gomez, which is more true than false. But with Gomez, and in terms of athleticism and remember he how many times he's bailed out Trent and he's bailed out Van Dijk to a certain extent is because we need someone who is that athletic and can get across the ground that quickly. And Gomez got sprayers. People just forget that he can pass the ball. He can pass the ball. He is aware. Of course, he lacks some defensive awareness, and that is true. However, it's better to be athletic and lack defensive awareness, similar to someone like Kyle Walker, who lacks certain defensive qualities, but that pace will just bail you out every time. And I prefer that. Yeah, I prefer that than having a defender who's so defensively aware, but the one time he does switch off, he's done because he can't be back, he can't recover.
Very true. That's fair points.
Fair points, mate. Yeah, fair point.
But would it maybe be a good thing to get, see if you get competition in, so as Jerry said, like a Varane or whatever, and then it's like it puts it up for grabs, and then you might get the best out of Gomez as well. Yeah. So that would be an interesting one. But I agree. I think there's definitely someone out there we could get that could raise the cat amongst the pigeons in there with the centre back. So maybe you've got 3 centre backs fighting for it, because Matip, I love Matip. I do think, see if it was like maybe the way he is, it's not as fashionable to say, Joe Matip's great, and he's just unfortunate with the way he's body and the way we play. But maybe it's an ideal time to get someone in who can make. Obviously, Van Dijk's going to start, but then again, you don't know Van Dijk's going to be the same player. He had an ACL.
I was just going to say that.
So I think we need someone. We 100% need someone.
That's why I want Varane.
The thing is,
we
can get a lot of money for Joel Matip. We can get a lot of money for him.
Do you think?
We can get.
Yeah, didn't he get? There was rumoured to join PSG in the summer. For 50
I think
million.
we get 40 or 50. I think we get 40 or 50 for him.
No way, bro. No way.
Nah, I think we can. Yo,
no, not in this market, bro.
We've got Michael Edwards, bro.
I agree with Finn. I think injury prone. I think it's just unfortunate. There's other teams who would suit him, and he'd probably play a full season, but
when he was at Schalke,
play that way.
When he was at Schalke, he wasn't injured.
No, I get, but what I'm saying is, see, at PSG, they want to play a certain way where it's going to be quite intense. Maybe not league games, but a team like mid-table who can sit back would suit him more, I think, anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
No, on.
So, Ryan, I was going to come to you next. So, obviously, we're still in the Champions League, and that's got to be the focus now, because getting top 4 looks like it'll be very unlikely. How would you approach the Premier League for the rest of the season? Would you rest players in the Premier League and save them for the Champions League, or would you still play them in the hope of gaining some momentum and just hoping that we won't pick up any more injuries for the rest of the season? How would you approach it? You're on mute, bro. You're on mute.
Well, in my opinion, how I want to see Jurgen Klopp approach the Premier League. We know we're not going to get top 4. I think we should just rotate like him did in a Fulham game. I want to see Shaqiri, the likes of Origi, the likes of Navigator, play more in the Premier League to get them fitness up, to see where they're at, because this is a big summer for likes of Shaqiri. Some of these players need to move on and strengthen the team. Will FSG do that? I don't know. Time will tell. In this pandemic, I don't know. If we can rotate the team and go strong in the Champions League, we have to just put the egg in one basket and that's go for the Champions League, and hopefully the draw go in our favor. But for me, I think the Premier League is dead. We're going to play against Wolves. We'll probably lose that one, or we'll probably draw. I don't know. I would say rotate the team and keep the player them fresh for the Champions League. Unless hopefully we can get a Dortmund or a Porto in the Champions League. So Premier League is dead for us. If we're not going to get Champions League, just let's move on. No Europa League, no Conference League. Play one game a week next season. That would be great for this squad if we don't lose any major player. And I don't want to see Mohamed Salah. They owe us a season. Big time. So no player should think to want to leave Liverpool if we don't win the Champions League or don't get Champions League football. Let's focus on next season. prepare them. And for me, we need to get a centre back. We don't know how Virgil van Dijk will come back. Joe Gomez, him always going to get injured. That is a must. Joe Almaty, the same thing. So we have to get a next centre back. Kabak, he's young. He's going to need time, but not at Liverpool. Probably go Schalke back and build up him confident and more consistent. But we shouldn't purchase Kabak. We can get better centre back out there. We have a Ben Davis, quality, pay a 40 million.
Is he real though, bro? We've never seen Ben Davis. I still want to see him, bro.
Definitely, he should be the target for us. He's English. He used to the Premier League, used to the Championship. He would make Virgil van Dijk improve, and also he can play inside of the midfield. He can play defensive midfield. So if we don't have Fabinho, we can play Ben Davis there. And Jurgen Klopp will get the best out of him and him improve. He could be one of the next big centre back out of England, like Rio Ferdinand. His quality. If you have the great team,
bro, that's high praise, Ryan.
Yes, no.
I agree with everything up to then.
With this Liverpool team, the current player around him, he have a lot of world-class player around him. He will get the best out of him, and him gear will improve. Him sit alongside of Virgil van Dijk. He's next to Virgil van Dijk.
Ben Davis starts the Champions League final. Ryan's going to just retweet this video constantly.
I'll tell you what, Jurgen Klopp will do well to get the best out of a cardboard cutout.
Can I wait? So you know, with Kabak, right? Let me just ask you with Kabak. Do you think he should just not the loan spot just needs to finish, or do you think we keep him and then loan him out for another season, or maybe
keep him for the what?
No, as in, do you keep? I mean, don't worry, I'm on your side, bro. I'm on your side.
No, I'm just asking you a question. Keep him for the what?
No, I mean, to keep him for the end of the season, would you keep him on past the summer, Ryan, or would you let him go back to Schalke?
Send him back to Schalke. Send him back to Schalke.
Yeah, on loan or permanent?
No, we haven't bought him. So
we haven't bought him. We bought him.
Oh yeah, true. We haven't bought him still. Yeah.
I agree, Ryan.
I mean, yeah.
He ball watch too much. He don't ready for the Premier League. He look good in the Champions League as a slow temper. The Premier League, this is the time, you know. I am ruthless, you know. I usually look different.
Need to be ruthless.
Do you know what I would say with Kabak? Because again, even though he had a brilliant game, and you gotta commend him. Like I ain't really with the hype. I still think he's dead food. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm sorry. I know it's harsh. I still think he's dead food. My opinion will not change from one game, especially against a weakened RB Leipzig side. However, in the hindsight of things, he does need time. I just don't think Liverpool have time. See what I'm saying? And and for him, if we were to keep him in some sort of way, I would more of a buy him for the 20 million and loan him out. Loan him back out somewhere else and maybe do it that way. So we got someone coming in, you know, in the future to maybe, you know, because you never know how people develop. People peak at different times. But now,
if we loan him out, bro, we'll have to replace him though. We'd have to bring someone else in.
And let's bring someone else in. Let's bring someone else in.
Collect a car, 20 mil. Collect a car, 20 mil. Right, so it's 2 million more. You could get collect a car. You could have Gomez, Van Dijk, and then, i.e., Varane. But it's only 20 mil collect a car, or Botman's probably 25. But either one of them, I mean, that's the levels we're at, guys. We're not. It's not a charity. You know what I mean, it's like it's meant to be a thing, and we're trying to get someone to learn on the job. It's getting ridiculous.
I hear what
you're saying, Wilmot. I actually think Kabak's quite good, but I've said it before. The problem I've got is he's been brought in to save us this season, and he's a 19-year-old, and it's like that's Liverpool's fault, not his fault. But we've got to judge it, and he's been brought to be that person, and it's an FSG to try the past one.
We just don't have the time. He needs the time that we don't have. That's
He'll probably be a good defender, mate. He probably will become a good centre back, but I think you're right. He needs games to make the mistakes, if that makes sense, you know, to get his
price for the price that he's available for at the end of the season, and for what the price is that Varane's being mooted at, you're not going to get a better chance to sign an established world-class defender that can cruise into your team. And I think that's the way that you have to look at the business in the transfer market this season. you're not going to get a better chance to sign a world-class player without paying out of your arse for him. And I think we have to do it this season, Mark. There's no other time. Next season's too late because all the fans are back, all the money's rolling in for all these clubs again. Then we're not going to get that opportunity again. We have to do it now. And I think FSG really need to like understand that and say, right, we're going to go out and we're going to buy a marquee player that will walk into this team. You Stroll Varane into this team during the Van Dijk saga, we wouldn't be sat here having this conversation now of why we lost 6 games at home. It's like, this is what I mean, and I agree with Conroy. Relying on a 19-year-old kid to come in who's never played in the Premier League before and drag us out the shit, it's just never going to happen, is it? You just know it's not going to happen based off the info alone. So
yeah, Fofana's like a one-off, isn't he? Fofana, I'm not saying he's the same, he's established to how good he'll be, but Leicester they've not just bought him to say you're the main man. He's been given opportunity and he's stopped other centre backs from getting in the team. So it's a different situation.
Leicester were I want to say overachieving and have been overachieving. We are underachieving. You can't bring a 19-year-old in when we're out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the point.
Literally what Biz said. Like it's madness, really.
It is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, when you put it in black and white like that, it's like, what are you doing?
yeah.
And we're like, so we've got a centre back. We're like, hold on.
And Ben Davies from Preston makes it even worse.
I know.
Exactly. I think, let me just say, Dead Food was maybe a bit harsh.
It was harsh. It was harsh.
It was harsh. It's harsh. But like, but listen, but Cal, bro, like, one game will not convince me. Let me just say that I'm not convinced.
That's fair enough.
I'm not convinced. Yeah, that's fair enough.
He's no Naldini, but he's good. He's good.
Yeah, he's no Naldini.
If he had Phillips' rated performance, he might be in with a shout because Phillips just seems to smash it out the park every game. So I don't know.
Crazy.
I swear the guy has a magnet in his head because every single ball.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He must have
I'm telling you now, right?
Generational talent.
I would not be
surprised. Cal was like on the fence, and then last night it's like I'm racing the Phillips.
I'm fully on the Nat Phillips train now. I'm fully on. All right, so Rams, we're going to move to a show. The last topic we're going to speak about, and this is your favorite topic. I'm not going to lie, Rams. Part of me was thinking to prank you and just go around everyone and not ask you this, but you'd have probably killed me off air.
Let's all mute ourselves for Rams' moment here.
Yeah. Steven George Gerrard has delivered Rangers' first championship in 10 years. Rams, that's my introduction. The floor is yours.
Look, you said it right there.
I wish I could play backing music as you're doing this. I'm not going to lie.
The job that Steven Gerrard is doing for Rangers is absolutely outstanding. He was always going to be a slow burner, especially where Rangers was at the start, about third. I think they were hovering around third or fourth. The next thing you know, the season after season, they kept on progressing, and now they are reaping the rewards they so heavily deserved this year. They have played outstanding football. They are undefeated as well. They are undefeated, so they might do an invincible. We know how Arsenal fans love their invincibles, so it'll be great. It'll be great if Stevie can do that. And not only that, he's performing in Europe as well. So far, I think it's still 1-1 to Rangers. But nah. I want to keep it quick. Like, wait, if anyone knows, Steven Gerrard, what he's done for Liverpool, he deserves all the praise. I'm going to let everyone do what they want to do. Steven Gerrard, OG, better than Frank Lampard, better than Paul Scholes, best, currently right now, one of the best England managers right now. Done. Just done.
That was superb. Mate,
but no, in all seriousness, Gerrard's done an amazing job.
No, he has.
Conroy, I've had the pleasure of obviously speaking to you about it. Obviously, you're in Scotland, so you're closer to it than we are. Are we actually downplaying just how much of a monumental achievement this is over here in England?
Yeah, but not in the sense of he's obviously quite aware of it and you know how big a deal it is, but like it's hard to explain that in England, it's several different teams. In Scotland's not predominantly Rangers Celtic, but you've got a lot of people who support both. So there's a lot of pressure in Scotland, and it's like a kind of like a fish tank. If you're in that, like, you wouldn't understand. It's like there's a lot of pressure on Gerrard, and people are forgetting. Rams made a really good point there, but also this time last year, Rangers lost 1-0 at home to Hamilton. We were top of the league at Christmas, and they fell away. And then obviously the pandemic happened, but Celtic would end up being about 13 points clear. So a lot of people, or it was kind of mixed on the fence, people are like, should we maybe sack him because he's lost that, and then Celtic have got the chance to win 10 in a row. And to put you in mind, no one's won 10 in a row in Scotland, so this is like that'll never be repeated. So if you're in a team who stops that, you're just as much legends as the team who would win the 10. It is a very big thing. So to put in perspective, guys, I don't know if you saw obviously the celebrations and stuff, but Steven Gerrard right now, is he still a manager? He's an icon. He's a legend. He's a living legend in Glasgow now. That is 100%. Like that stopping that happening and them winning it for the first time in 10 years, well, genuinely, that's he's already at like Souness level. He'll be remembered for. He could do nothing else at Rangers, and he would be a legend now. Like, really, honestly, it's next level. So I know everyone thinks, he's done a great job, and maybe England will play it down. But again, it's like we spoke about this, Cal. See when Monaco beat PSG, or if a team of Inter Milan beats Juventus this year. See when you've got a monopoly happening every year and you do that. It's a big feat. It's a huge achievement. And for him to do that, especially from being about 13 points behind last season to winning it, but now it's some achievement. And as well, Ram, because of the performance in Europe, it's really is superb. And I feel like, genuinely, guys, we want him to be Liverpool manager. He even came out and said that he'd love to be manager one day. That pressure and that experience he's had in Scotland will be very good for him, because see, for like Old Firm games and stuff and that competition, it is like a pressure cooker at times. So you'll see how good he's went from that. And one more thing I'd like to add, a lot of people will talk about Gerrard, it's all like it's a fairy tale story. I would add this: he's learnt a lot on the job. He's made a lot of mistakes. He's learnt he can't be like a player. He's called players out, and then that's went against him. So he's got much better at being a manager. And and as I said, Rangers have probably gave him the opportunity to make mistakes, and they've been patient with him. Whereas nowadays that doesn't happen in England, and you can see they got the rewards from that. So I would just add that.
Can I just add on that, actually? Like, when Gerrard first took over, there was a stage when Alfredo Morelos had more red cards than he did goals in the course of a season. That player, I don't think, has been sent off for 6 or 7 months.
He's only been one red card this season, and it was for Gerrard.
Like, yeah, I think that on its own is like a testament to his management and how he's developed as a manager. It really is. And also, let's not forget, he's taking Rangers to somewhere they've not been for a very long time in the Europa League as well. Like, they're playing really good football against very good teams and outplaying them in a lot of occasions.
1-1, by the way.
We know.
Yeah.
I think just on that, Bizzo, a testament to it was the game against Benfica. Like, we all know Benfica has quality players. Like, they got Pizzi, Rafa Silva, Vertonghen, Otamendi, Grimaldo. They got ballers, and he somehow got a couple of draws in those games. And
they're disappointing those draws.
Disappointing draws as well. Yeah. But Rangers' team, like, it's not compare it to other teams in the Europa League. Compare it to Manchester United's is like night and day.
No, but they're playing like a system. You can tell it's like Michael Beale deserves a lot of credit as well, because Michael Beale's a former Liverpool.
I read an article on him.
Yeah, and it's like similar styles, and that's maybe an important thing as well. Gerrard surrounded himself with people who tell him they're not all yes men, whereas other persons don't do that, don't always bring in their own staff, and you could tell that he's made mistakes and he's learnt from that. And my favourite part, I think we can all agree, is he's been adaptable. It's not been a fairy tale. He has made errors here and there, but he's learnt from that, and maybe that's great going forward, because like we're talking about Klopp stubbornness, but genuinely you have to be able to adapt to different circumstances, and he's definitely done it. I'd also argue Galatasaray, they knocked out in the qualifying rounds. We watched the goals in that game, and then also last year knocking Braga out when they were like 3rd or 4th at the time, being superb. So the achievement is speaking for itself, and it'll be great for us, I think, in the future. Let's be perfectly honest. I don't think he wants it this season. That would be a terrible decision. As long as you can.
I think he has to stay at Rangers for as long as possible.
We've got Champions League next year, mate.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Ideally, I'd like him to go to a Leipzig or
would you guys
a club like that. A club like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Would you guys
I'd hate
take
to see
Terrace?
what
What he's
European
doing?
teams look at. Sorry, guys, let me just go.
Go on, Mons.
Oh, I was saying, would you guys take?
Oh,
Terrace?
sorry. Oh,
Wow.
sorry, comrade. You know.
Oh.
Sorry, comrade. If you
Yeah,
haven't finished.
Oh no! Oh, sorry. I was going to let Mons go there. I got complicated. I was saying that I don't think other teams. So see, like I think because Gerrard, with Liverpool fans, it's kind of you've watched the Scotland game more. But I do think there is definitely, like, Scotland league's no great. No one's disputing that. But I do think foreign leagues definitely don't see it as being I can't see Leipzig or Dortmund ever looking at Gerrard winning the league there. Even though they might see it on paper, that's a great achievement. I can't see them I'm looking at, because even the only teams lower leagues who really get that is, see, like Holland, say maybe a manager's at Ajax who like to take him on. But I can't see a foreign team. I could see Championship teams. I could see Premier League teams probably offering him a job. I don't know. Do you think he'd move to a Premier League team, or do you think he would just wait?
No, I don't want him to. I don't want him to
either.
I think the best thing for him to do is to stay at Rangers. A similar way to what Brendan Rodgers did at Celtic. And stay there, win as much as you can, because you're building a good CV regardless of what the league is. If you're consistently taking a team into Europe, into the Champions League, and winning league titles and Scottish Cups here and there, it can only improve your resume. And that's what Brendan Rodgers did.
If he goes far in the Champions League, say, get out of the group stages, that's going to be an achievement in itself.
Mate, see if he gets into the group stages, you need to remember Scotland's not like England. It's very important about money. So see if they get through this round, right? The group stage is 7 million, but see if you get into the Champions League group stage, I think it's about the same. Whereas you need to get out the Europa League to get Europa League group stage. I think you get 7 million. But even to get in the Champions League, see financially, a lot of Scotland, they focus on that. It's more about the money side, because that's a lot of money. Whereas maybe like Liverpool, let's be honest, guys, we've got you know what I mean. It's like overall in a normal season, you're making that. So on a business point of view, Gerrard, even teams will look at Gerrard as like business wise, he's very good as well, because he's getting the results. The Champions League will be really interesting to see what style of football. I'd say to Cal that maybe we should try that, as Liverpool play the standard 4-3-3, but he done that and then he started changing it so your wingers in the free come into as a 2 number 10s, and then you're not as predictable. So there's lots. He's been amazing, and he's learned a lot, and it's great for him. I don't know if he would have got that experience anywhere else or been given the time. So it was a good choice to move with the team he had.
Fully agree. So guys, what I'm going to do now, just going to go around the circle. Obviously, Wolves is the next game. Not going to do a massive chat about it. We're just going to go around and do a win prediction or a result prediction as opposed to a score prediction. So Jersey boy, obviously your predictions have been pretty spot on, and obviously after this stream I'm going to ask you for the lottery numbers, so I'm going to let you go first.
I've got good news for all of you lot. Very good news. 3-1.
Okay.
We'll in the first half. It will be 1-0 down, but then the front three will tear them apart, and I think 3-1. I think this. I'm not joking. If I get this right, then I will give a lottery numbers. But I think. I have a feeling we're going to see performances like Crystal Palace 7-0 coming up. I think. I don't know. I don't know. I could see Fulham, Chelsea, Everton all coming up before it happened. I just knew it was going to happen, and I just have a feeling that we are going to play much better, because he's going to play Fabinho in midfield and that from now on. I hope, because I can tell if I see the lineup and he's in defence, and it's a loss, but I'm going 3-1.
Oh, Bizzo, big shoes to fill now after Jersey boys predictions.
Conroy and Finn know what's coming here. Liverpool 4, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0.
So you've got better than me,
mate. I've been putting bets on every time I've said that, because I've been so confident when I've said it, and every time they've been like 50-60 to 1. So I'm going to win one soon, and I'm going to share the betting slip with everyone. I did it last night. 55 to 1 it was. I was shouting at the TV. I was hating those misses more than Conroy.
That Mane header must have drove crazy.
That Mane header cost me about 400 notes, so I'm very critical of him at the moment. But yeah, no, I think we'll play well. I said this last night. I think they're really struggling without Raul Jimenez up front, feeding their wide players. I think Adama Traore hasn't scored or assisted in 21 games. I think it's stretching to now.
I might be changing.
I think, and we're on the up, baby. We're on the up.
That's why I think I have a thing on the up.
All right, Finn, what's your thoughts, bro?
For me, I'm going to go 1-0. I'd love another clean sheet for and Kabak's confidence in doing them the best of good. And I think it'll be a solid performance, but just 1-0. Can't see too many goals.
Fair enough. Ryan?
You're muted, Ryan. Again. He's always muted every time we do stream with him. He's muted every time.
It's because of what you lot said about Origi, that's why.
Yeah.
Liverpool 1, Wolf 1. Origi come off the bench and score the
I knew he was going to mention Origi.
It's going to be his audition for Wolves.
Yeah.
I say, I'll go for. I'll go for.
So I put the Titanic music on again.
No, wait. I'll go for a 2-1 to Liverpool.
Okay.
I feel like we might score. We'll score the 2 goals first, and being Liverpool, we'll just make it difficult for ourselves in the last 10 minutes. So, yeah, 2-1.
Cool. Conroy?
I think it'll be 1-0 Liverpool. I think Jota will score.
Oh, that's a story there.
Oh,
Once.
yeah.
Former team,
Don't know if anyone wants to put the Marvel music on. Avengers music. But I generally think, we will win comfortably. It will be Liverpool 4. I'm with Biz on this. Liverpool 4, Wolves 0. However,
yes, Mons.
100%. 100%. But what I will say, we will miss. Huh?
Yeah. Beat them 4-0 at Anfield.
We will miss a few open goals. Mane, if he does start, will header the ball into the ground. But we will win 4-0 and score probably 3 screamers and a normal little tap-in just for the just for the ones in the back.
I would love that.
It's 28 to 1.
I would love a tap-in more than anything.
28 to 1. I'm logging into
28 to 1.
I'm logging into
I'm gonna go 2-0. I think if Naldini and Kabak play and Fabinho's in front of them, it's impregnable.
Fabulous is the difference, Cal.
Our boy Neto is playing, innit?
I know, but it's a scouting mission, isn't it? It's a scouting mission.
We're gonna come on next stream and Conroy's just gonna be sat there with a straight face like, I fucking told all of you this would happen. I told every single one of you this was gonna happen. We're throwing out 4-0s and Kabak and Naldini, and Conroy's just gonna be like, you set a dick.
These are like face tripping you and just see me smiling. Guys, I'm hoping if we win 4-0, that'd be amazing, to be honest. I hope this is the turnaround. I really do.
I think it is. You'll be surprised.
You said that 4 times, Jersey, though, mate.
I said we will lose. I said we will lose to Fulham. I knew the score.
No, I mean we've always a collective event. This is it. We're back. We're back and then lost. So,
but no, right. I'll give you all random lottery numbers, and we'll see who becomes a millionaire.
I know.
That would be a dream. If we could win the lottery, that would be very, very good. Because I'd probably try and buy Liverpool a player with that money, to be honest.
It's 40 mil. Go and get Varane now.
Yeah. You want Varane? Here it is. My missus will probably divorce me, but it's for the great good. Secure Liverpool's future. Guys, we're going to wrap up there. Going to go around the circle, let everyone know where they can find you. So, Jersey Boy, where can the people find you, bro?
First of all, on my channel, Jersey Boy, or on Ryan LFC's channel. I do all the I do watch-alongs with Ryan, and I'm a content creator and designer. So you can find my Ryan LFC for more Mr. Football stuff.
Cool. Bizzo, where can everyone find you when you're not ripping people to pieces in a rap battle, bro?
Yeah, you know it. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at BizzoBond. That's my main plugs.
And Finn, where can the people find you, bro?
Instagram and YouTube, Alpha TV, and do reactions after the game and watch alongs, and majority of people who are on this come on after the game. So yeah, it's Alpha TV.
Super. Ryan, where can the people find you, bro?
Muted.
Ryan
Jersey Boy's like his minder.
Well, I have to remind him at least 5 to 6 times to watch them on. So.
People, you can find me at Ryan LFC, YouTube, Instagram, LFC Domination, Twitter, Ryan LFC 30.
Super. Rams, where can the people find you, bro?
Yeah, you can follow my Twitter at LRB Rams and my YouTube LRB Rams without the underscore.
Super. Conroy?
Just at Twitter, so it's @_Conroy H.
Steve, you remembered it this time?
Just, mate, just. I've been written down here.
And Mons, where can the people find you, bro?
You can find me on Big Six Bands, so that's YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And my actual Instagram is _Mons.
Super, super. And guys, you can find me here or you can find me on Coppish along with Matt and Drifty. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Make sure you go and sort yourself out on Manscaped as well. 20% off. You know, Mother's Day coming up for all you dads out there, and you got wives and girlfriends and you mothers, you know, give them a proper treat. Give them a proper
I'll be doing a live stream of my routine as well next week.
I won't be tuning into that one. But I'm sure it'll be fantastic, Bizzo. I know, as always, thank you very much for joining us. We are That Liverpool Show. Make sure you follow everyone on this panel as well. Some great stuff they're all doing, so please make sure you support them. Until next time, people, thank you very much and see you soon. Take care.
Peace.